everyone, I'm Sarah from Everyday Starlet. Welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about eye primers. Yes, eyeshadow primers, which is something I never used, and I just suffered with eyeshadow creasing for many years until I finally realized there's a better way. Yes, there's a such thing as eyeshadow primers that can prevent your eyeshadow from creasing. Genius. So I decided to put them to the test, and I tried a different eyeshadow primer every day until I ran out. I did it vlog style so you can see me applying it, and then I kind of give you an update throughout the day so you can kind of compare them side by side, see which one you thought worked best and what my opinions were. Basically, I'm just comparing my whole eye primer collection. So if you want to see which eye primers worked and which ones didn't, then just keep watching. Yeah, my first eyeshadow primer is going to be the Painterly MAC Painterly Pro Longwear Paint Pot. You've probably heard of this. People either swear by this or the soft ochre. I think Painterly is better for pale and cool toned skin tones, whereas the soft ochre I feel like works better for warmer skin tones. And I actually kind of put off buying it for a long time. I was like, I don't need it. And now I use it. Pretty much if I'm just going for a shadow primer, this is the one I go for. I might find a new favorite in this process, but right now, like, this is my, like, if I'm just going for a neutral base, that's what I go for. I apply with my fingers. You probably could apply with a brush. It blends in. It's very natural. Doesn't give your lids any color, but I feel like it evens them out. I love it. So I'm going to go with my Urban Decay Naked palette. I'm going to throw on Sidecar on the lid. And then I think I'm just going to put Naked in my crease. Nothing too fancy as far as shadow goes. Just something to prove that does or doesn't work. So I will check in with you guys later throughout the day. Okay, primer update. If I can get some decent lighting. There's like no creasing whatsoever. The MAC Painterly Paint Pot is just, I never have a problem with it. No creasing, no nothing. Definitely one of my favorites. Okay, so today's eye primer is the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Anti-Crease Eyeshadow Primer. This is a little sample, and I have like a pile of little samples of these that I kept getting from, I don't know if it was from Ulta or Sephora or wherever. It kind of squirts out and I don't know, it feels a little separated to me. It's possible that it's older, but it's very thin formula. Like, it's getting a little clumpy in the corner here. It does feel like it dried quickly. I'm gonna go in with my Urban Decay shadows. I guess so far, I mean, I prefer like a more, like a pot type creamy formula of the, like the MAC. I'll see how it holds up. Maybe the thinner formula will surprise me. Okay, so eye primer update. Don't mind the eyeliner. This was an eyeliner test as well that was an epic fail, but that's for a separate video. My actual, like, eyeshadow, I don't know if you can tell. I mean, I feel like all my eye primers are going to be so close that I really have to get nitpicky, and I didn't like this one as much as my MAC Paint Pot. Just the way it applied, but I mean, it's not bad at all. It didn't crease. I just like the formula of the Paint Pot a little bit better. Personal preference. Okay, so today's eye primer is the Milani eyeshadow primer. Lightweight, invisible finish, works on all skin tones. This one is obviously from the drugstore. It kind of squirts out, and it's kind of similar to yesterday's Shadow Insurance in that it's kind of like looks a little bit like a concealer. Okay, I think I got way too much. Little goes a long way with this stuff, and I did not anticipate that. Very similar actually in consistency to the Shadow Insurance that I tried yesterday. Sort of very creamy. I don't know, for me, because I'm so used to the Paint Pot, which I know I keep saying, but I'm so used to the Paint Pot that I'm used to something that has a little bit more control, and this is a little bit wild and crazy. And it appears to be getting a little clumpy in my lashes. I'm gonna wear a little bit different shadow today just because I'm going a little different with some of the rest of my makeup, so I just wanted to match. But I'm gonna go in with my Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette, so I'll be testing it with different colors than I was with the other ones, but still the same Urban Decay shadows, so. Okay, so I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup, and then I will let you know how this holds up throughout the day. Okay, so primer update. Sorry about the lighting, but I don't see any creasing. And I was looking for it because I was not totally convinced that this primer was gonna work. No creasing. I'd say the Milani Primer held up really well. Okay, so today's eye primer is the Maybelline Color Tattoo, and this is in the shade Creamy Beige. Now, I don't know for sure. I haven't double checked recently, but when I started buying my Maybelline Color Tattoos, which I'm obsessed with, and the Badge of the Bronze is potentially like my favorite eye color ever. Like, just, I love it. But the Creamy Beige, I think, is the only matte one they have. Most of them are like shimmer colors. I do think they all work great underneath shadow as a shadow base, but this is the most sort of matte neutral. I feel like if this was a better color, like this was more the shade of the Painterly Paint Pot, maybe a little bit lighter and a little bit pinker, then it would be an exact dupe, because formula-wise, I feel like they're very similar. And I really wish that Maybelline would get smart and come up with one that is more of like a flesh tone. And this actually might be a flesh tone on some people, but I wish that they would kind of go the Painterly Paint Pot route and do more mattes and like actually promote this as a shadow base. But you can use any of the shimmers if you want. I just wanted to stick with a neutral to compare it with the other neutrals. See, it's not bad, it is giving me more color, so if I did want to start with a lighter base, it's darkening my eyelids a little bit. I love how this primer applies. I love the way it wears, especially when I use like the Badge of the Bronze or a shimmer shade or something as a base, but we'll see how it holds up throughout the day. So eyeshadow primer update. I have some eyeliner smudges, but that has nothing to do with the primer. Holds up really well. Again, I think this is a great drugstore primer alternative, especially if you want colored shades. Just wish that they had a few more neutral and matte shade options, especially more flesh tone options, but on that Maybelline Color Tattoo, I'm all about. I have like almost every shade. It's kind of a problem. Okay, so today's shadow primer is actually straight out of the box. First impression. I had to get this to include it in my eyeshadow primers because I feel like it is the shadow primer that you hear about on YouTube. It is the, I should probably tell you what it is. It's the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. This is the original. The packaging is adorable, and it's almost got this like clear tip. And it actually comes out, it's like a doe foot applicator. I like that. We'll see if I actually like it, but I like the idea of it. This is the original. I think it comes in colors now, but I just wanted to get the original to try it out. The doe foot applicator does make it, I think, a little bit easier to apply, but I think you definitely have to go in with your fingers and smooth it out. Or you could probably go in with a brush or something else, but it's a thinner formula than like, say, the MAC. I do think it's a tiny bit thicker than, say, the Too Faced one. I like the way the shadow applied with it on. So, we'll see how it holds up throughout the day. Okay, eyeshadow primer update. No creasing. I don't see any creasing at all. So yeah, so far, doing pretty good with eyeshadow primers. Okay, so I decided to add, I was actually going to finish yesterday with the shadow primers, but I decided to add one more because I actually stopped by CVS and I heard about this. I think this is the primer that I heard about from Tati's channel, and she said this was her absolute favorite primer. She would pick over any primer. Not positive this is the same one, but it was a Wet n Wild primer, and I can't imagine that Wet n Wild has that many eyeshadow primers. So this is, again, the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer, long lasting, only a matter of prime. So it comes in a tube. A nice like flesh tone. Very pale though. Very creamy, very slippery. But it dries quickly, I can tell. Because it dries quickly, you have to work really fast, or if you keep working with it, it looks like it gets a little messy. That could be me because I've never used this before. I don't think it looks quite as even as some of the others. Like you probably can't tell because it's just so subtle, but I don't think it blends in as evenly because I think it dries so quickly. Like you gotta move quick, basically, is what I'm getting at. Shadow definitely is sticking to this. Very tacky. I mean, not that it's hard to work with. Shadow definitely, like I can feel it somewhat sticky, but the shadow isn't going on patchy at all, but so I guess I can feel it. Feel it gripping. Yeah, so we'll see how it holds up throughout the day. Okay, so shadow primer check-in, and first of all, I want to say it is really hot today. I mean, like, I'm super shiny. It's hot. outside today. It was brutally hot, and I don't see any creasing. No signs of creasing. The only thing I will say is I noticed when I finished doing the rest of my makeup that in here, it's not smoothed out and the primer's not on evenly, which could partly be my fault, but this is my first time using this primer and it dries very quickly. So, well, I do think it's a good primer, and I don't remember the exact price point, but Wet n Wild is incredibly affordable, so I'm sure it was affordable. It's good, but you have to work very quickly with it. You can't, you know, just, you know, do your own thing, like get to work quickly, because it dries quickly and then it's really hard to smooth out. Only drawback of this primer, but other than that, I mean, worked great. And those were my eye primers. When I did this test, it was actually before I got married. I kind of did this test to see which one I would like best to wear on my wedding day. Dun dun dun, if you want to know which one I wore, it was actually the MAC Painterly Paint Pot, which should probably be no surprise. I'm definitely open to new eyeshadow primers. If there are any that you love that I didn't test, or ones that I tested, let me know, because I get great recommendations from you. I mean, I have a new favorite under eye setting powder because you guys recommended it on my under eye setting powder video. So I'd love to hear your comments and suggestions. Please leave them in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. Be sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you join me next time. Hi everyone, I'm Sarah from Everyday Starlet, and I'm here to show you how I got this kiss-proof Old Hollywood lip that I wore on my wedding day. To get that pouty starlet lip, I started with my Lip Fusion XXL.